NASCAR heads back to EchoPark Motor Speedway this weekend for the second race of the 2026 NASCAR season. We've got trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup Series predictions headed your way here on the Lap by Lap Show. How's it going, everybody? My name is Austin McConnell. Welcome back to the Lap by Lap Show. Be sure to tune in on TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube so you never miss an episode like this one. Follow, like, and subscribe wherever you may please. Also, be sure to tune into my X account, amcconnell0423. That is AMCCONNELL0423. I post a lot of live race updates. I post articles or episodes I publish, such as this one, so you can hang out with me on X and talk NASCAR 24/7, 365. EchoPark Motor Speedway preview. I will give you a warning. It is still Atlanta Motor Speedway in my heart. I will be calling it Atlanta most of the time, probably by accident. I'll try and call it EchoPark as much as I can, but like I said, it's always going to be Atlanta Motor Speedway in my heart. So if you hear me say Atlanta instead of EchoPark Motor Speedway, then just don't worry about it. Disregard. Let's move on. We got a lot to get through here today. Once again, this will be a shorter episode. I am leaving in just a couple hours to head down to Atlanta for the second race of the 2026 NASCAR season. So starting it off strong, I was down there in Daytona for the 500 weekend. Unreal experience. If you would like to hear about that and hear my race recap and analysis, go check out episode 3, my latest episode that I published on Tuesday. It was a great weekend. Had a lot to talk about. And we've got a lot to talk about here this weekend, where I once again will be in attendance. Hope to see some of y'all there. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. We got Trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup Series predictions. We're going to start with the Trucks Series. Couple quick notes. Corey Heim's first start in the Tricon Garage #1 Toyota this weekend. Did not compete in the Truck Series down in Daytona last weekend. He ran the 67 for 23:11 on Sunday. So he will be making his first start back in the Truck Series as the defending champion. A couple other notable names. Kyle Busch making his first of 8 scheduled starts in the series for the Spire #7 Chevrolet. Hocevar will be his teammate in the 77. He's also in the field. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as well. Ty Dillon will be in the Ram free agent #25 truck. So for Colleague Racing, so that'll be exciting to see. So a couple Cup Series drivers headed down to the lower National Series, the Truck Series. In 2025, Kyle Busch won in a photo finish over Stuart Friesen. Very, very close finish. Stuart Friesen gave him a run for his money, had the lead coming off of 4 by about half a car length. Kyle Busch battles back with the side draft on the inside, shows his veteran move, and gets the win. 2026, what can we expect? I mean, it's hard not to go against Kyle Busch. I think Kyle Busch will get some momentum back after grabbing the 500 pole and then finishing, I think it was about 15th or so. And I think he's going to win the truck race this weekend. I know we're getting right into the predictions here, but like I said, short episode, so try and keep up. But Kyle Busch is he raised a lot of voices the last couple years by competing in the Truck Series and pretty much dominating wherever it may have been. Everyone's talking about, oh, they shouldn't allow Cup drivers to race in the Truck Series, blah, blah, blah. I think it's quite the opposite. I think it's great practice for these truck drivers. I think it can really make them stand out. Yes, it is hard to beat a great driver such as Kyle Busch, but I think if you are able to beat him as a rookie in the Craftsman Truck Series, that is more of a resume booster than finishing 5th. I mean, I mean beat him, like win the race over Kyle Busch or over Carson Hocevar or over Ricky Stenhouse, not finish 10th and hope they wreck and finish dead last. If you can beat the best of the best, your name's going to be put up on a lot more boards than, say, you finish 10th every week, which isn't bad. 10th is very consistent, but Truck Series guys, they're going for the win. And I think a couple will go for the win this weekend as well. Obviously, Stuart Friesen was very close last year. Tyler Ankrum finished 3rd or 4th, I think it was. He was side by side with somebody at the line. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's probably going to bring some speed again this year. Corey Heim, obviously defending truck champion. He will be in the field this weekend. So pretty stacked lineup. I think Hocevar can be up there as well, but give me the veteran Kyle Busch. I think he's going to get some momentum back on his side. It looked like it was going to be his opportunity to win his first Daytona 500 last weekend after he grabbed the pole, was unable to do so. Kind of pulls out of line with a few laps to go, lets everyone kind of wreck up front, comes home with a respectable 15th place finish. For those of you saying, we hate this, why did he pull out? We don't like that at all. It's Kyle Busch. He's being smart. And it's also the new playoff format we have. We got rid of the playoffs where all that mattered was you won. Now this is points. Why would you run 13th and wreck yourself and then finish 29th? Instead, be smart, pull yourself out of the pack, run around a little bit with a couple laps to go. If you know you don't have a race-winning car, pull it back out, let everyone wreck up ahead, avoid the carnage, go around, and finish 15th. That's a lot more points than finishing 30th or 35th or 29th, whatever it may be. So I don't fault Kyle Busch for doing that at all. If it'd be different if he was in the top 5 and decided to pull out, I'd be like, what the heck are you doing? But he was running about 13th, 15th place, I think, at the time when he pulled out. So not a terrible decision from Kyle Busch. But I think he will get the Truck Series win this weekend. The weather is looking a little rocky for Saturday. It was supposed to be the Truck Series pretty much early, late morning, early afternoon. And then the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on Saturday evening at about 5 o'clock. But with the weather kind of being iffy, NASCAR has thrown out the idea that if it's a washout on Saturday, then they'll do a triple header on Sunday. They will do the O'Reilly Series race in the morning, then they'll do the Cup Series race around 3 o'clock, and then after the Cup Series race, they would do a Truck Series race, which I think a truck race at EchoPark under the lights, that would be really cool. But we'll have to wait and see. Triple header is a lot for a day. Not for me. I could sit and watch 3 races in a day. I would love to do that, actually. But for the teams, for NASCAR itself, that's a long day. So we'll see what they end up doing. Obviously, they're going to try and get it in at the scheduled time on Saturday. But that's it for trucks. Let's move on to the O'Reilly Series. For the second straight week, Gio Ruggiero, I hope I'm saying his name right. Ruggiero? I think it's Ruggiero. He will return to the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota this weekend. He raced down in Daytona in the O'Reilly Series on Saturday. Finished 37th, got caught up in an early wreck. Pretty much wasn't really his fault. Bad luck. Good redemption week for him, hopefully coming up in Hampton, Georgia this weekend. Ross Chastain is also in the field, driving the number 32 Jordan Anderson Racing Chevrolet. This is kind of interesting. He's been with Nice Motorsports in the trucks or Xfinity/O'Reilly series whenever he does run below the Cup Series. So a little interesting to see him in the Jordan Anderson Racing Chevy. That'll be fun to watch him on Saturday, Sunday, whenever they get this race in. Austin Hill, shocker, won the 2025 race last year. It's very hard to go against Austin Hill at a drafting track. I like Jesse Love. He's always solid. I like Ross Chastain whenever he runs in the lower series. He's always top 5, top 10, depending on the track. I could really see him being up there because he ran well in the Cup Series in the 500 last weekend. He led a bunch of laps. But it's so dang hard to beat Austin Hill, man. It's so hard. And there's a lot of guys I want to pick this weekend, but it's just I have to pick Austin Hill for my prediction in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series again. I would love to make a different pick. I would love to make a more entertaining pick, but it's hard to argue Austin Hill. He wins every drafting track race in that series. No one can figure it out. He just controls the field when he gets to the front and no one gets around him. I think he's going to do it again this weekend. So give me Austin Hill to win the O'Reilly EchoPark Motor Speedway number 1 race on Saturday. Like I said, I like Jesse Love a lot. I think he can be right on Austin Hill's bumper coming to the line. Maybe if he's a little more aggressive, he can make a move, but that is his teammate, so he's got to be thinking about, if I make a move and Austin goes to block me and they wreck each other, Mr. Childress will not be happy. Met Jesse Love down in Daytona last weekend. Very kind. Pulling for him in the O'Reilly Series. But like I said, very hard to go against Austin Hill at a drafting track. I promise next week I won't pick Austin Hill at Circuit of the Americas. I don't think he's as good of a road racer as he is a drafting track racer. But we are headed to it. I almost said Atlanta. EchoPark Motor Speedway. Drafting track. Give me Austin Hill. Like I said, guys, we are moving right on along in this episode. I got to get out of here in just a couple hours, so going to hopefully get this finished up and published by the time I can leave here. 38-car field for the Cup Series. 36 chartered drivers, J.J. Yaley and B.J. McLeod, back in action. Both competed down in Daytona last weekend. B.J. McLeod was the first wreck of the 500 on lap 4 or 5 or whatever it was. His bid at the 500 ended very early. But let's talk about EchoPark. Previous winners. Since the first reconfiguration race in 2022, Chase Elliott and Joey Logano are the only two drivers to win multiple races. They both have 2 wins at the reconfigured Atlanta/EchoPark Motor Speedway. There's a William Byron win in there. There's a Daniel Suarez win in there. Daniel Suarez had that very exciting 2024 3-wide finish. I was in attendance for that one as well. Have his race win diecast on my shelf right behind me as we speak. 6 out of the last 7 Atlanta races, 6-7, saw a lead change with 2 or less laps to go, with 4 of those 6 races being last lap passes. So in the 7 reconfigured EchoPark races, 6 of them saw a lead change with 2 or less laps, and 4 of those 6 were last lap passes. Most recent, last summer, Chase Elliott passes Brad Keselowski on the final lap and wins in his home state. Crowd went nuts, was there for that one as well. Been to the last few EchoPark Motor Speedway events, so been pretty exciting races the last few years. And the lead change statistic speaks for itself there. Christopher Bell won this race, the Atlanta number 1 race back in February of 2025. He got a timely yellow after a last lap crash. He had Larson and Hocevar right around him. Hocevar probably had a run and was probably going to beat Christopher Bell. But race of inches, I guess. Christopher Bell gets the timely yellow. He was just out in front. That kickstarted his 3 straight wins streak, I should say. He won at EchoPark and then Coda and then Phoenix, which that Phoenix race was very exciting as well. I don't think Seabell's going to win it this year. He didn't show me anything down in Daytona. Kind of forgot he was in the field, to be honest with you. Never really saw him competitive up front in the pack, so I'm not too confident in my pick if I were to pick him for Atlanta. Here is my prediction. I'm looking at Team Ford/Penske. I think I said this last week before Daytona as well, but they were let down last week at the 500. They didn't really show any speed like they had before. They weren't leading as many laps as they have in previous years. Normally, I think it was either last year or the year before, they led like 120 of the 200 laps. This year, I don't think they led one. Maybe no more than 5 if they did. I don't remember them leading, and that's how insignificant their performance was. Logano was kind of there at the end, but he didn't really look like he had the car to make a move there on that last lap, even beyond the chaos headed into turn 1. But I like Logano here, man. Like I said, Joey Logano and Chase Elliott are the only 2 drivers with multiple race wins at this track since it's been reconfigured. I think it's a get-back week for Team Penske and Ford. I think Logano or Blaney wins this week. I'm taking Logano. I'm taking Joey Logano. A lot of people are not going to hear that. He's one of the villains in NASCAR nowadays. I'm going with Joey Logano. I think he's going to pick up his 3rd EchoPark Speedway win. And he, alongside his teammate Ryan Blaney, are once again the 2 favorites according to FanDuel. They were the 2 favorites last week and headed into Daytona. They were 1 and 2. I think Logano was first, Blaney was second, or something like that. Once again, they are tied for the best odds, according to FanDuel, at plus 1,000. Chase Elliott is third in odds at plus 1,200, so right behind those two Fords. I could see Chase Elliott getting it done again. If he brings that same car he brought from the summer race last June, watch out for him. He'll get Chevy a win. But I'm going Joey Logano. And Team Ford and Team Penske, I think Logano is going to prove a lot of people wrong this weekend. A lot of people are starting to call him and his achievements gimmicky due to the playoff format and stuff like that. I think he's gonna go out there and he's gonna get it done. Grew up racing there, lived in an apartment that like overlooked the track or something like that. I think he's gonna get it done again in Atlanta. So let me know who you guys have winning the Trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup Series races. Lots of guys to watch out for, but give me Joey Logano. All right, y'all, that is going to do it for this EchoPark Motor Speedway preview. And for episode 4 of the Lap by Lap show, I have been Austin McConnell. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Quick reminder to subscribe to the Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok pages, and also follow my X. And I will see you guys next week as we recap what should be a very exciting weekend in this tight, close-knit drafting style racing here in EchoPark Speedway. Have a great day, everybody.